All right, race number 3, race fans. And because it is Yuki Tsunoda's home race in Japan, we're going to go racing in an RB today. Sir.
Are we?
Yes, sir.
Okay, we're going
racing
RB.
Bulls.
RB.
There we go. Here's
And
Yuki's
we
ride.
want Japan.
Now, Tim, you've had a few laps to warm up on this track.
I had 7, yes.
What can you tell me about it just from an experiential standpoint?
Oh, my God. It's a lot of fun. I mean, I can see why the drivers like it. I've never driven it before. I've never driven it on – this is first time on a sim with it. And I don't know. The 7 laps are like it's challenging. There's a lot of concentration required, but it's a load of fun. You can see why the drivers love doing this track because of the high-speed nature of it. And, you drop like a wheel on the grass here, you're going into the wall. So it's a very unforgiving racetrack at the same time. That's why I think the drivers like that challenge.
Yeah.
I mean, same with Australia and maybe not so much with China because you can make some bigger errors there and get away with it. But for this track in particular, you can't make a lot of errors, and if you do, it spits you right into the wall. So it's.
Well, we're gonna see how that goes.
Well, we're not gonna get spit into the wall.
Did you get spit into the wall in any of the?
No, I
laps?
didn't crash. I did go off though.
Okay. All right. Okay. Well, going off is
More
is
than
one
once.
thing. Okay, that's fine. One. Now
Okay,
let's
flying
see.
lap. All right.
All right. So looks like a sunny day in Japan.
Yep. So this is then you're just gonna lock up all 4 wheels to start things off. That's perfect. That's this is the infamous chicane with Prost and Senna. If you remember that, Adam, when the two
Very
of them
much.
collided with each other.
Yes, please explain that one if you can remember that story.
Well, I'm trying to drive here. That's good.
What?
you were asking me to really.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Go back into
I'm
history
sorry. What am I
here.
here for then?
Oh,
I guess it's fine. Well,
hey,
listen.
Hey, Professor Tim, you go back in time in your little time machine.
Well, it would be difficult for me to pull that up.
Okay, so the two of them were fighting. Oh, see. and
and he almost puts it into the wall. Wow.
All right,
Here.
so the two of them fighting for the championship.
Yeah.
Okay, and I can't remember if there was a race after Japan, but Japan used to be one of, if not the last races on the calendar. So Senna and Prost were fairly close on championship points.
Mm-hmm.
And I think all Senna needed to do to win the title was he needed to beat Prost in Japan.
Right.
I believe that's what it was. You're going to have to...
Senna and Prost, both McLaren teammates, collided at Suzuka with Senna attempting an overtake. After the collision, Senna was DQ'd for cutting the chicane while joining the race, leading Prost to win the championship. That's what Google says.
Okay, yeah, and then also remember, I think Senna went on to get back into the race.
Yep.
I don't know where he finished, though.
He did.
He got into the points.
He also, by the way,
Did
Senna
he
had to
win?
pay a $100,000 fine and serve a 6-month ban.
Yes.
And he threatened to retire.
Yeah, because I think a lot of it had to do with the FIA and John, what was his name at the time? Jean-Marie Balestra.
Mm-hmm.
Who was, I got a call coming in now, too. Someone's calling me.
There's so much going on, Tim.
I'm trying to do history lessons here, answer calls.
So here's what Screen Rant has. Are you ready? Prost was the dominant racer for most of the race. Senna wasn't able to pull ahead, but on lap 46, Senna grew desperate. Prost was only 7 laps away from securing the title, leading to Senna to try to overtake him on the inside. Prost wouldn't let Senna pass, causing Senna to crash both cars on the escape road. Prost exited his car, believing that Senna's crash had secured him the title. However, Senna had the marshals give him a bump start, allowing him to get back on track and into the race. And although Senna won the 1989 Japanese Grand Prix, the controversial move led to a massive battle in the world of Formula One. Since Senna cut the chicane during the bump start, the stewards disqualified him. Although Senna appealed to, this is the pre-FIA, this is FISA, or FISA, F-I-S-A. They dismissed the case and let the disqualification stand. Senna had to pay $100,000, serve a 6-month ban. He threatened to retire before changing his mind. He raced again in the 1990 season. Senna and Prost both faced off in Suzuka again. At the first turn on the first lap, Senna crashed into Prost. This ended the race for both drivers.
That's right.
Because of the standings going into the 1990 Grand Prix, Japanese Grand Prix. This led Senna to clinch the title. Oh, you wonder where Michael Schumacher got it from. The parallels between 89 and 90 crashes between Senna and Prost have made the series of events one of the most famous of the duo's rivalry. with one crash earning Prost the title and the other giving it to Senna. So the question now is, did he do it on purpose? And we just don't know. But,
I would have.
Yeah. So you would have. Okay, this is a storied track, and I've got some other stats for you I want to throw at you here. Our stats god, Justin Fisher, dropped these ones on us. Suzuka Circuit is 5.8 kilometers in length, 18 corners, and 1 DRS zone. So, Tim, based on your driving here, there are other passing zones that don't require DRS, right? This isn't like a hard to pass track.
Well, I mean, there are some parts of it that are hard to pass. I think a big passing zone, one of them would be here, coming into this turn. You could pull one off at the start of the race. Maybe depending on the life of the tire, maybe you might be able to, get someone when the tires are starting to die. And then you've got that other opportunity up by that chicane.
Right.
I would say those are your, and also the
infamous Prost Senna chicane.
Yeah, you might be able to get one at the hairpin that's kind of coming up here in a little bit. I don't know. That one seems a little more challenging to pull off a pass, I would say.
Unless someone carries a little too much speed and it goes wide.
I think if you just, I don't know. It seems fairly tight, Adam. I think it'd be difficult to pass to really pull off a good pass here, right here.
Max Verstappen has won each of Formula One's last free visits to Japan. Lap record of 1:30.989 or 983 was set the year by Lewis Hamilton in 2019. So no one has beaten Hamilton's time since then, which is interesting.
Those cars, though, Adam, were had a ton of downforce on them. So this is the type of track where a car like that would really come to life.
Right.
Those cars from 2019, 2020, 2021, they had so much downforce on them, right?
Were they faster cars?
Yeah, they were super fast cars.
So when someone sets a lap record now, that's a course record. It's really impressive, right? In these cars.
Yeah,
they're a bit slower, bigger.
I don't think they're. I'm trying to remember. I'm not the stats guru here, but I don't think anyone's set a lap record in this new regulation of cars.
Wow. Okay.
That would be someone can write that in the comments. Correcting.
We'll have to find that out. Yeah. Okay. Last little thing here. McLaren has not won in Japan since 2011. Name the driver.
What?
2011.
Yeah, it's okay. 2011.
Oh yeah, you're in a corner. This is bad.
Hang on. This is a very
windy.
Well, it's challenging.
Okay, so Tim, 2011.
Yeah.
McLaren driver. Last time they won.
In 2011.
Yeah.
A McLaren driver. One here.
Yes. It's not Heikki Kovalainen.
No. Be Lewis.
Not Lewis, but Jensen.
Button, okay.
Yeah. But it does hold the most Japanese Grand Prix. McLaren does hold the most Japanese Grand Prix wins among constructors, with 9 in total, dating all the way back to 1977, which is kind of wild when you think about it. This is going to be a race that is fascinating as we begin to see the development of the cars on the track, because obviously, we've had one race in Australia where the weather was terrible, couldn't tell much. Now we've had another race in China. You can tell a little bit more, but you need to look at these things in chunks, right?
Yeah.
So 4 and 5 races at a time. The cars that are good at what will succeed today?
Have a lot of downforce on them.
Mm-hmm.
I think those are going to be the strongest cars, or not even just that, but driver friendly. I would say we're starting to see that as a growing trend with these teams, where the engineers were they used to chase downforce, and they're a lot more downforce, this is going to help us, but in fact it actually upset the balance of the car and upset the driver at the same time and their confidence.
Right.
So I think, Adam, we'll see cars that are favorable to giving drivers a lot of confidence do well here.
Okay. Do you have an idea of who those teams might be at this point?
McLaren for sure.
Okay. Yeah,
Definitely.
They seem to love their car.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
But
the drivers really love it.
After Australia, it was interesting to hear them talk about how the car had sort of a peaky window, and so that's a little concerning because it sounds kind of like Red Bull territory, right? Where if you don't have a high operating window, then sometimes you can get caught out and really struggle throughout the weekend to find the proper balance for it. Where last year, it always felt like McLaren would show up and they were quick right away.
Right.
Now, I mean, with a peaky car with a smaller operating window, that could change things a little bit for them.
Okay, well, I hope it doesn't because, I might be a little bit biased. But, hey, what are you going to do? Now, I think it's a little unfair.
A little biased.
Tim set his personal best in a Ferrari on this track, I believe.
Yes, it was a Ferrari.
So we made you do a Racing Bulls. Should I shut up and let you take this lap?
And see you can keep going if you want. I'm
okay.
just trying to stay ahead of the personal best.
Some of the things to look out for, too, I think, this weekend are the amount of publicity that Yuki Tsunoda is going to have to do.
Which is great.
He's amazing at it. He's a great personality. But, it's I've always find it interesting. It's like Charles Leclerc in Monaco or, Oscar Piastri or Daniel Ricciardo when he was racing in Australia. They really run you through the gauntlet. And I'm always curious about how those drivers do. Like sometimes, Checo in Mexico, like they really ran up through, and they're like at the end of the weekend, they're exhausted.
And they should be. I mean, you have so many media obligations at that point. So Ricardo was always interesting because I think it was back in, if I remember correctly, it was either 2018 or 2019. He actually had them start to shut down some of his media obligations because he was just finding he couldn't focus enough on the race.
Right.
So, I wouldn't be surprised if
Yuki maybe is the same thing.
Yeah.
Perhaps, too, you got to remember that Formula One was on the upswing at that point.
Yeah.
And I bet the media obligations, doubled overnight, right, after those first couple seasons, Drive to Survive.
I would say, these guys get so many requests, for media. I don't know, Adam, you can speak to, did I just beat my personal best?
I think you did. Oh! Talking and beating his personal best. Tim Hauraney getting on the simulator and just kicking ass. Let's go, Tim. Who cares how this next lap goes, baby? Let's go.
Hold on a second. Take me through, and Jesse's probably pretty up on this too because he goes to the Leafs games and everything. For the media, what are players in hockey like? Right? How easy is it for you to get a one-on-one with them?
The interesting thing is, it's first off with the Leafs, it's not it doesn't matter. So in hockey, in basketball, in football, whatever, they have really, really good set times, right? It's rhythm. Certain players will be allowed out before the game, certain players after the game. In hockey terms, it's like morning skate, that sort of thing, and then they obviously have a chat after morning skate, and then they'll talk to the coach, and then they'll have the game, and then the Leafs will send out, 3-4 players? So Jesse's behind the camera. So, and they'll choose. It used to be that you get to walk into their dressing room, just talk to whoever you want. Some teams still allow that. Most teams are moving away from that in order to protect them from the exact same things. Because especially after a loss, what I love about what Formula One does is no matter what happens, you're doing the media. And so if you crash on lap 3, you do the media early with the car still going in the background, but you still have to do it. And I think because it's such an event, right? Whenever, this is how Formula One is we have a Super Bowl 24 weekends a year, right? In a different country. And it's true. So they got to do it. But what I think is different is that there's a real personal pride element when a driver goes to their home track. And this is where it gets tough for a guy like Yuki. Have you talked to Yuki?
I have, yeah.
What's he like,
he's
actually?
Nice.
He seems like a funny guy.
Yeah, he's pretty nice. I remember, talking to him for the first time, when he first started in Formula 1, he was pretty shy.
Yeah.
Then he kind of backed away from the microphone sometimes, which is understandable. I probably would have done the same.
Yeah.
But, he's a super nice guy. I would say, from the media perspective, it's interesting because, broadcasters or print journalists or whatever, they'll always, not always, but for the most part, they'll try and get those sit-down interviews whenever they can, and usually those happen on a Thursday. So it's different from hockey and the way you describe it because Austin Matthews, every game he goes to or plays, right?
Yep.
It would be someone asking him for a sit-down interview.
Right.
Same thing goes with Lewis Hamilton and Tsunoda and everybody, right?
Yep.
Every week, that's what they're getting.
Every
race weekend.
Yep.
So it's a lot, right?
Well, and Tim, we're gonna wrap it here, but I think you did.
Trash.
Listen, you're hating this lap. You know what though? You didn't need to follow up because the last lap was your personal best. Damn it! All right. Thanks so much for watching, and remember, we do this every single race weekend. So look out for Tim and his frustrating sim adventures. Yay! He did set a personal best, though.